I'm just trying to figure out this reality. And there's more to it, I think, than whatever traditions have taught us. Whatever traditions we believe, there's way more to it. There's way more to this infinity, this infinite creator that we have, and the infinity he built into us. And I think he built it into us to experience the world and experience life through us and grow within that. He grows as we grow. One thing I know for sure is I cannot stand the word podcast. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I hate the way I sound when I say it, podcast. It always annoys me. And secondly, it kind of makes it sound like you're sitting in a really tiny confined pod or cell, trying to scream at the top of your voice, trying to get people to listen to you, you know? And I think that's kind of what the term means. So I've decided on this channel, rather than calling these podcasts, I'm going to call them office talks, because I'm simply sitting in my office where I do my work and I'm talking, much like my biking mics or my walking talks or my running mics. We'll just call this office talk. And this will be episode number 1. What I want to talk about tonight: what is eternity? Man, like, that's a question that you would think the vast majority of people alive, or everybody alive really, would want to know, because it's clear that this life we live is very finite. It's very small. It's very short. We don't have a lot of years, you know. We never know when that moment's going to arrive, when we're simply no longer here anymore. And what does that mean? And so, you know, we're so distracted by the things of this world and getting consumed with what's going on and what we're told and what we're shown, that often, very often, I think we completely forget to even consider the reasons why we're here, and more importantly, where the phase is of the process of eternity that you and I are in right now. So if you believe that we are infinite spiritual creatures that are living temporarily in a fleshly body, that means that we are in fact infinite. And infinite means no beginning and no end. Much like our Creator, the Alpha and the Omega, right? He's the beginning and the end. And He is infinite. Well, if we are created in His image, we are also infinite. And that's, to me, a really fascinating thought, because, you know, I guess traditional religious or Christian teachings talk about or kind of lean toward the fact that our lives or our infinite worlds didn't really begin until we were born, or it really never goes back before our birth as to what we were before that. And again, if we're spiritual creatures, we were something before we were in the flesh. So what was that? It's something I don't think a lot about, but lately I've been considering, because I'm starting to think more and more that you and I, where we sit right now in this crazy, crazy screwed up world that's really hard to figure out and understand, sometimes I feel like maybe we're in the middle of our existences. We're just somewhere in the middle. And there was something major before and something major after, and this is a step, a phase in our infinite lives created by the Almighty, by our Creator, Yahweh. And I believe strongly there is a Creator. I can't find any other explanation, any other real and tangible explanation as to how all of this exists where we are and what's going on in the spiritual battles that are clearly waging in this world. I can't find any other explanation other than there is an almighty creator. He did make it all, and he does have an enemy. And that enemy is trying to destroy it. What other explanation could there be? I hate talking in like finite terms, but it just seems to me that that's very, very obvious. And if you don't see it, you kind of have to be hiding from the reality of what's blasting at your eyes, your own eyes. So I think it's important for us right now to understand that what's happening in the world around us and within us is hugely important for our individual infinite lives. The Creator who made us, his truths that he's shared with us throughout history have been largely given over to the God of this world and hidden. Now, it seems like the God of this world shares certain truths with us out of necessity or out of some spiritual bond that we have to have a chance to understand what's really going on. And so I think that there is a certain awakening that's been happening that surrounds that, and it's hard to sometimes see through the deceptions that are built within it as well, and try to see clear truth, and we all struggle with that. But what we struggle with, or what I struggle with more than anything, is why it's all happening. Why exactly is this happening? Why is it happening right now? And what exactly does it mean? Is there anything I can do about it? Am I just along for the ride? Am I just a passenger? Am I a passenger? Or am I a captain? Or am I being tossed off the side of the boat? And if I'm being tossed off the side of the boat, then I sure want to know what the heck eternity is and where I'm going from there. So I think there's this huge misconception that preys upon the sluggishness, the general overall sluggishness of the human psyche, that says that eternity is sitting on clouds, smiling and laughing and being happy all the time and doing nothing. And having no sorrow and no tears, and that's all true. But basically with no responsibility, with no purpose. No purpose. Why would eternity be that? If there's no purpose, or there's no goal to eternity, if I have no personal goal to eternity, then what is my personal goal for this life right now? What am I trying to achieve? Why am I trying to get to an eternity with my Creator that doesn't involve me continuing? It doesn't involve me continuing to evolve. So I think that's what our Creator wants for us. I really do. There's so many misconceptions, though, that surround this, I think, just from what I'm studying and also feeling strongly in my spirit. That I don't know how to say it the right way exactly, but I'm going to try. That when we pass from this world, when we move on from this world, it's kind of like unicorns and puppy dogs. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. See, I think our Creator is always growing. I think He's always expanding, constantly. That's why he's the beginning and the end. There is no beginning and no end. Infinity can't have a beginning and the end. So by default, you have to constantly be growing and expanding and creating all the time. I think Earth, where we live, was his most powerful centerpiece creation of what he's made. And I think, this is me trying to understand something I can't possibly understand, but it's what I feel in my spirit. I think that this centerpiece, that a lot of things stem from this centerpiece within his creation, this huge, beautiful centerpiece that the enemy is trying to destroy, and so many things that are important to the Almighty Yahweh stem from this centerpiece and the energy that comes from this centerpiece, right? And that's why we're so under attack right now. And his growth depends on our growth. His growth depends on our growth. He sees the world through us and we through him. It's such a complicated subject as I see it in my spirit. But what I think is that our infinitely growing creator, who's always creating and becoming more, who is the great I am, created us in his exact image in the same way. And if he's infinite, he created us within infinity at the same time. So this life is such a minute point, but it's a huge challenge. You know, it's impossible to speculate on what landed you and I here right now and why. And what we're seeing through our own eyes and what we're hearing through our own ears and how we're perceiving it all in our own brains that are all just all individual and our own entire worlds. It's impossible to comprehend why that is. But we're here for a reason, and maybe the reason is we earned being here. We earned being here as some prior test, some huge prior test that we made it through. And I know, I'm not trying to sound new agey or whatever you want to call it. I'm just trying to figure out this reality. And there's more to it, I think, than whatever traditions have taught us. Whatever traditions we believe, there's way more to it. There's way more to this infinity, this infinite creator that we have, and the infinity he built into us. And I think he built it into us to experience the world and experience life through us and grow within that. He grows as we grow, and we grow vice versa. We're directly connected with the creator. The earth is his centerpiece, and we're directly connected to him whenever we want. It's like you think about all the movies you see or all the stories you've ever been told about good versus evil and what that's all about, and God versus Satan. And, you know, they always kind of make them seem kind of equal. They always make them seem kind of like, well, they're just battling and nobody knows who's going to win. Well, I don't think a creation can ever beat a creator. And I know, I strongly believe this enemy that we face, that we fight, is a creation of the creator that thinks he's better than the creator and more beautiful than the creator and thinks he can ascend higher than the creator. And he needs to hold us down to make that happen. That's the thing. He needs to hold, the enemy needs to hold humanity down in his mind for him to be able to ascend higher than his own creator. And I think it's our responsibility somehow in this part of our infinite lives to stop that from happening. And I think it comes from our energy. I think it comes from our energy, what we put out there. Like, you know, that feeling of defeat when you feel really defeated and beat down and you're just like, ugh, you know, you got nothing to give. And then you know that feeling when you're really pumped up about something and excited, and how like your veins just flow with it, you know, with what feels like a certain power. That's energy, and I think that our creator is energy. I think he created everything with an energy we don't understand, but I think that as we grow in infinity, our job is to be constantly learning and creating. Learning and creating, just like the Almighty is constantly creating new things and expanding in His infinite world. This is what we're going to do within infinity. Whenever we pass from this world, whatever that looks like, I don't think people. Again, religious tradition talks about how when we die, our spirit leaves our body and we go floating up in the air into the clouds, and there's a light and all that. And I don't know. I think it might be different. I think there's some scriptures that lead us to believe that it doesn't work that way at all, and that in reality, when you die, you sleep. You sleep. And you know how it works when you sleep, because say you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, and you fall fast asleep, and then all of a sudden, bam, you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's like no time has passed. I mean, yeah, you might have had some dreams and stuff, but no time has passed. Those 8 hours are just gone. And what I think, if there is this moment in time, certain religious traditions call it the rapture or whatever, but if there's a moment in time where there is like a spring, a bubble, an awakening, a boom, a spiritual just explosion. There's a moment in time that happens. I think that the people who have died before that, who have been sleeping, will instantly be awakened at that point. And to them, it will be like that time never existed, whether it was 1 year or a month or a day or 100 years or 1,000 years. So I think death, I think the twinkling of an eye, like the resurrection the Bible talks about, that twinkling of an eye is simply you falling asleep and waking back up whenever the Creator decides whatever He's going to do to change our realities from what we're currently living, to help us, to bring us to the next level of ascending through our infinite lives, our infinite universes that we all live. I hate the word universe. I don't mean it like space and all that. I just mean universe as far as what we all experience. But I think once that happens, like we think it's over, the victory is done, and we just sit there all for eternity and do nothing. No, I think it's on to the next. I think that is still, it's going to be a lot of learning. It's going to be levels of understanding that we can't fathom yet. And it'll make us so hungry to learn more and create more. Like creating is what we're built to do. Just like our Creator creates, we're built to create. We're built to create and build and make things. And I think eternity is going to bring that out of us more once we pass from this really screwed up world and have a sense of the true reality that our spirits exist in. It's going to be a whole different story. So that's my little tiny glimpse into what I think eternity might be. I didn't really even touch on some of the things I wanted to say, and there's a lot of time yet we can talk about those things. I hope you enjoyed this office talk, and we will speak soon.